Christine Pinawanich with your weekly recap. We'll be catching you up on some of the biggest stories of the week. First up, the Trump administration says it plans to end what's called a temporary protected status for Somalis and ordered them to leave the country in just over 2 months. Alma McCarty spoke with some Somali Americans in the Portland metro area.
President Trump's words disparaging the Somali community in December, then the arrest and detention of dozens of refugees in Minneapolis a month later.
So it's no longer just a threat. Now it's an actual ongoing situation or tragedy, if you will.
And the impact, Ismail Warsami tells us, is widespread, especially online.
People have been told, go back to your country, you're not legal in this country, you're not welcome, the day of reckoning is coming.
Zamzam Abdallah explains Oregon's Somali community continues to face difficulties between the Fed's rhetoric and actions and rampant misinformation, tied in part to allegations of fraud in Minnesota.
This administration is trying to tear us apart. They're sending a lot of families back home, and a lot of moms are afraid to go to school, pick up their kids. We have to carry our passport everywhere that we go.
And on Tuesday, another targeted action as the Department of Homeland Security announced the termination of Somalia for temporary protected status, with officials stating the country doesn't meet the conditions for designation. According to census data, there are nearly 100,000 Somali immigrants in the U.S., and more than 80% are naturalized U.S. citizens.
Everything in immigration is being weaponized by this administration. So when they say the temporary protected status is ending, it is obviously tragic for people that are under that, but the numbers are around 1,000, which is extremely small.
Both Warsami and Abdallah say this community will overcome these challenging times, standing in solidarity.
Telling the president, stop doing this, we human, we this, we that, is not going to change anything. What we're doing is, if the president wants to fight with the power, we are fighting with our rights, and we're not stopping, and we're helping our community.
Alma McCarty reporting there. Meantime, Oregon lawmakers are pushing back on President Trump's latest move to withhold federal funding from states that don't assist with federal immigration efforts. One proposed bill would apply if the federal government has withheld money and the state successfully challenges that in court, but the federal government still does not release the money. Then Oregon would have the option to withhold payments to the feds. We spoke with the Democratic representative who plans to introduce the bill, but there is already Republican opposition.
The federal government is going to disobey the law and we can keep even millions of more dollars in Oregon. I think that is something that can make our community safer and more secure financially.
I think it's probably a bad idea. I mean, we rely on the federal government probably more than they rely on us. And at that point, again, you're flirting with a civil war, and I think Oregon seceding, even just financially, from the union is a terrible idea.
The bill would be introduced during the short session, which starts February 2nd. Portland's City Council has a new president. The election came after some dramatic deadlocks and 13 rounds of votes. But it turns out the winner didn't even want the job. Blair Best explains.
Deadlock.
This is going to keep going.
After deadlock.
This is just profoundly unserious at this point.
After deadlock. 13 rounds of voting over 3 meetings. A divided Portland City Council painfully struggled to agree on who should lead as council president.
We are in a crisis. This is a crisis of leadership.
Insults flew.
Last week, Councilor Maria leveled one of the most grievous insults anybody can level against anybody, against me and Councilor Clark.
And emotions took over.
I feel emotional hearing that because I actually feel really hurt, Councilor Novick, that you haven't said a single word to me or asked how I'm doing in the last couple of days, too.
The candidates, Councilors Ilana Pertolgini, Samir Kanal, Loretta Smith, and Steve Novick. And in a last-minute nomination, Councilor Jamie Dunphy.
Well, I'm going to nominate Councilor Jamie Dunphy from District 1.
He reluctantly accepted.
This is not something that I have been seeking and is not something I am excited about.
Just before 1:30 Wednesday afternoon, Council elected Dunphy as the new president. He received 9 votes.
I'm willing, not happy, but willing to do this in service of this institution.
Council president duties include running council meetings, setting the agenda, and the seating chart.
I will use this role to distribute power, not consolidated, to build systems that treat each of us the same and protect this council as an equitable body for our colleagues and our constituents. I really don't want this to be a yearly ritual of hardened battle lines. This has hurt my heart.
At one point Wednesday, Councilor Smith threatened to sue the city over the ongoing stalemate, arguing the mayor should be the tie-breaking vote.
I would like to ask that we get a declaratory judgment from a judge to view our charter.
Turning to sue the city over this is just, it's very disappointing.
Portlanders are watching us, and they deserve better than a council that appears unwilling or unable to make decisions about its own leadership.
Blair Best reporting there. Councilor Olivia Clark from District 4 was elected vice president. Portland Public Schools just ended a 15-year-old policy that allowed students to opt out of attending North Portland's Jefferson High School. This week, the school board voted unanimously to do away with what's called dual assignment choice for Jefferson after attendance numbers plummeted. The superintendent provided data showing Jefferson's total enrollment at less than 400 students this year. That's about 5 times less than neighboring Grant High School.
Scenario C demonstrates our commitment to providing students well-resourced learning environments close to where they live and returns Jefferson to a vibrant neighborhood school.
The goal is to have all 4 schools in the area have more or less the same enrollment by 2030. The school board says it'll work to invest in staffing, course offerings, electives, and extracurriculars at Jefferson. The district is also planning a more than $400 million rebuild, forecasted to be finished in 2029. Big news for Oregon Ducks fans. This week, star quarterback Dante Moore announced he does not plan to go pro, at least not yet, and will return to Eugene for another season. Moore just finished his first season as the Ducks starter, throwing for 30 touchdowns and more than 3,500 yards while leading the team to the college football playoff semifinals. He broke the news in a live interview on ESPN.
This decision, mainly all my life, has kind of just been, being as most prepared as I can for any situation I go into. And when it comes to me just making my decision, of course, I want to feel most prepared. At the end of the day, I feel like I can still learn so much more. And of course, as a kid, since 4 years old, I've dreamed about being in the NFL. But of course, this team, we've been through a lot, and a lot of people are returning. So I feel like we got, exciting things coming this year, and I'm excited to, keep pushing my team.
Moore was projected to be a top NFL pick. We're tracking all of the Ducks players who are staying and leaving. You can check it out on our website, kgw.com. And more sports news. Portland Thorns star midfielder Sam Coffey headed to Europe. After weeks of speculation, the team announced it's transferring her to Manchester City in England. With a new contract, she'll play with the European team through 2029. The Thorns did not disclose the transfer amount. Coffey helped the team win the 2022 NWSL Championship and also earned 3 NWSL first team selections. Now here's a look at your weather.
I bet you nobody is sunnier than Portland today. Good morning on a Friday. I'm Rod Hill. What a sunny, beautiful day we have. Not only today, but we'll be pretty much perfectly clear tonight, perfectly clear on Saturday. We might get back into some fairly widespread valley fog Sunday morning. If we don't on Sunday, we probably will on Monday. But this is an all-out dry forecast. High-pressure ridging arcing around us. And it's interesting because when we say high-pressure ridging, think of it as basically kind of a mound of air. If you're looking at 3D dimension, you've got this mound of air, and you got these clouds kind of hitting it, and they can't penetrate it. So you can literally draw the line, kind of trace the outer periphery with the clouds around the high-pressure ridge, and that's what we're seeing out there this morning. The one problematic area we have is the east wind. There's actually a wind advisory. This is immediate opening of the Columbia River Gorge. If you're familiar with our area on I-84 going into the gorge, you cross the Sandy River Bridge. And it's right in that specific micro area. The winds are gusting 40 to 50 to 55 miles per hour today. You get literally just away from that by a couple of miles, and the winds are non-existent, and we're just enjoying sunny skies, and we'll be under 50-degree temperatures again today. The one thing Futurecast is showing is what I call a low cloud lockdown when we get these temperature inversion patterns. So these are low clouds, Kennewick, Pendleton, back into at least the Dalles, and maybe extending into Hood River and down into parts of Central Oregon. The temperature inversion produces these low clouds. They come in the morning, and if you're 37 in the morning, the clouds just hang all day with no wind. and they're low, and they keep you from warming to where it could be 37 in the morning and literally 39 in the afternoon. So that's the type of weather we have going on here. Air stagnation is obviously a concern in these weather patterns as well. So we're watching that today. Here's what the wind forecast is showing from our weather modeling. We know already today, Troutdale, which is the airport near the Columbia River Gorge, has hit 49-mile-per-hour wind spikes. This shows winds as high as 54, 55 miles per hour into the afternoon. And the main takeaway, not only strong winds, but this is relentless. So if you're out and about in our East Multnomah County, that is just relentless winds. Our newest camera, the Seaside camera, I don't know if when we put it up, if we knew it would become our surfing camera, but it has. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surfers out there right now along our north coast. It's going to be a beautiful sunny day at the coast. Beautiful sunshine over our state capital this morning as well, where it's frosty and temperatures have dropped down to freezing. Here's our Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront camera. The first spot that started to show the clearing yesterday, and we've been clear ever since. So a gorgeous Friday. Tillamook 59, maybe 60 for a high. Newport 58, North Bend 64. Wow. 50s up and down I-5. Foggy this morning, Eugene, expected to clear out. And then we've got the low clouds that I mentioned from Pendleton out into the Dow. Sunshine in Burns, John Day, and Baker City. All right, our 7-day forecast numbers, here we are, all dry into the first part of the week. Clear today, tomorrow. By Sunday, the east wind should noticeably be fading away. That could lead to early fog in the valley. Certainly, I think it will by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday. And then we have shower chances building on Wednesday and Thursday. But all of a sudden, what looked to be a shower chance this good now looks to be a shower chance much smaller. And that is your update.
Hello, I'm Chris McGinnis. We've got a couple of weekend traffic alerts to pass along. For starters, the I-205 Abernathy Bridge will be closed overnight Saturday night from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. Sunday morning. That's both directions as ODOT works to install a sign bridge spanning the full width of the freeway. This, of course, has been an ongoing project in that area, part of the seismic retrofitting, I should say, of the I-205 Abernathy Bridge. So that you know, that closure is from 11 to 7, and the detours are 9090, Highway 43, or I-5. Of course, if you're keeping it local between Oregon City and West Lynn, you also can use the Arch Bridge. And another traffic alert for Saturday specifically, Multnomah County doing some work on the Morrison Bridge. The motors that raise the bridge up and down, they've put new motors in, and so they're going to have to do some calibration and whatnot. And for that, there are going to be multiple bridge lifts of the Morrison Bridge during the day on Saturday from 7 a.m. until as late as 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And while that's happening, of course, the Morrison Bridge is one of the main routes from downtown to and from I-5. So just a reminder there that there could be some delays on I-5 getting past the Morrison exit during the day on Saturday.
Good to know. And that is a wrap on your weekly recap. Again, I'm Christine Padawanich. You can catch up on the latest headlines anytime on KGW.com, your KGW app, or our YouTube channel.